I want to look at the chronological order of 2 Corinthians, beginning in chapter 8, 9, and then into 10. So, and this, don't say, oh, I don't need this. Yes, you do. Listen to what I'm about to tell you today. Chapter 8 talks about the excelling in your giving. Finishing what you started. Sow what you said you were going to do. Okay? Or do what you said you were going to do. Chapter 9 talks about one of the most preached scriptures out there when it comes to giving. It talks about, and they say it out of context, is about a cheerful giver. God loves a cheerful giver, okay? Cheerful giving in a certain circumstance and not just, all right, let's get happy about our giving. It's a cheerful that we get to do this and so forth, and I'm not going to stay on that. Chapter 9 also talks about the administering of the gift and the seed to the sower. Then we get to chapter 10. So remember, this is Paul.
Right.
Paul's talking about giving, sowing, reaping. Then he gets to 10 and he goes spiritual warfare.
Woo! Come on.
I want to hear your reaction. Why did you go?
Well, because whenever we give and whenever we sow seed, the enemy wants to attack us on that and say, you know, what you gave, what you sowed. Because he doesn't want us to sow and give. Because, hold on, because now you got me started.
No, now you got to stop. Now you got to stop. I just didn't know what woe was.
Because if you start sowing and you start giving seed and you start planting,
this is more than just that.
A harvest is coming.
It's more than just that. It's more than just that. Chapter 10, spiritual warfare, right after talking about finances and money. So we have to look at this.
Right.
I mean, this teaching isn't about that. It's about the after the fact or the before. Why does he give us spiritual warfare after talking about all this? Because when it comes to your money, Satan uses a couple of tactics. Okay? And there's 3 here, but they all start, or 2 of them start with fear. For the first tactic is the fear of not losing.
Okay.
Because some people give, not cheerfully, but they give and it feels like losing instead of like preparing for a win.
Right.
The next thing is the fear of not having. Now, if I do this, I have a fear that I won't have because that's not faith.
Well, and
that's struggling in not having.
Right. And not just yesterday, but the day before's teaching that Chris gave about, and I don't know how else to say it, I forgot what it was titled, but it was about what real faith is when it comes to sowing. So go back and watch that.
So watch this. The third one is the remorse of sowing. So now we have fear of not doing it because I don't want to lose, fear of not doing it because I won't have what I think I need to have. And then the third one is what is this? You're recently signed into iPad 3. You can ignore this notification. Okay, so the third one.
That was because of this.
Okay, the third one is the remorse of after the fact. So now the enemy brings remorse in and fear after the fact of what you did.
Yeah.
Now Paul says this in 2 Corinthians 10, 3-6. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, for we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds and casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ and being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. So, Paul says you have weapons of warfare. They are not carnal. No. They're not fleshly. Fleshly wars cause pain and anguish. Spiritual wars with faithful weapons cause results or bring results. So we're here. Fighting in the flesh only brings pain and anguish. Fighting in the spirit brings results to you. Okay? He starts off and says you need to pull down strongholds. What is a stronghold? It's a wall.
Yeah.
So we have built up walls. Watch this. Walls are for what? Protection and safety. But walls can also be used for hiding.
Yeah.
Why do we need to pull down the walls? Because it's the walls that's keeping you from the intimacy of God and intimacy with others.
That's good.
Walls is what keeps you away from receiving everything that either God has for you or another member of the body of Christ has for you. So he says, you got to pull down these walls. Watch this. It's not a natural wall. This is a mental or spiritual wall. I believe that walls that are put up between individuals are mental. Walls that are put up between you and God are spiritual.
Right.
So the spiritual wall has to be pulled down of the wall that you put between you and God. And many people, like I said, put up walls because they do it out of protection, out of safety. Well, I've been hurt before and I never want to get hurt again, so I'm going to put up a wall.
Right.
Okay? Arguments. So he talks about pulling down strongholds. Next thing he goes into is the arguments. Arguments solve absolutely nothing. All arguments do is escalate, and the conversations and the conversations result into pain and anguish.
That's good.
Because arguments do not solve anything. They capitalize on other arguments and make the matters worse. Spiritual warfare is in your prayer time. Spiritual warfare is in your prayer time. I'll say it again. Spiritual warfare is in your prayer time for casting things down. I hear a lot of people say that we're going to go and we're going to do spiritual warfare in the sanctuary. Spiritual warfare. Now hear me. If I have been doing spiritual warfare in the secret place, when I come out of the secret place and I step in front of an enemy, or I step in front of somebody that is struggling in an area, demon possessed, demon oppressed, whatever. Because I won the battle in the secret place through spiritual warfare, this out here is easy.
That's so good.
David did not win the battle of Goliath in front of Goliath. He won the battle against Goliath in the field. If I'm winning in spiritual warfare, then when it comes time if something arises in the sanctuary, in the service, it's like everybody's like, we're just fighting spiritual warfare. Then if you're having to fight it publicly, that means that you're not fighting it privately. If you're fighting spiritual warfare publicly, you did not combat it privately in order to become a victor over it.
Wow.
And so what you're doing is you're waiting on more people to come around to try to super spiritualize the fact that you didn't fight in the secret place, and you're waiting for others to come around you to help fight your battles. When it's Jesus that's there to help fight your battles.
Wow.
In your prayer time is where you cast things down, all arguments. If you'll cast arguments down in your prayer time, then you won't argue with other people in your public time.
That's good.
Okay? So he's pulling down strongholds, he said. He said, you're going to pull down strongholds. You're going to cast down arguments before they even arise. And then he starts working on your thought life.
Come on.
My finger's over here so you can see them. Thoughts of what? Strongholds, arguments, words against God, your faith, especially in, Paul said, your giving. Because you gave, you sowed, you did all these things, but now the enemy wants to attack your faith. So you have to bring those thoughts of loss, thoughts of remorse, thoughts of losing, thoughts of not having. You have to bring those thoughts into captivity.
That's good.
I got to bring the thoughts, spiritual warfare things into captivity. I've got to bring the thoughts of the pulling down strongholds. I've got to bring these walls. Okay? All these thoughts and stuff, I've got to bring them to tear down. All these arguments, Here we go. One upon the other. Bring it into obedience. When I am obedient in spiritual warfare, okay, pulling down strongholds, casting down arguments, and taking my thoughts captive, what happens when I do all four of these things? Jesus Christ will punish.
Come on.
He will punish the warfare, the stronghold, the argument, and the thoughts that are coming against you. He will punish the enemy for making a war against your giving. He will punish the enemy for bringing war against your against everything. He will punish it. But everything has to do with your and my obedience to go into that place of spiritual warfare. Tear every wall down, cast every argument away, and bring every thought that is not of God, that's an enemy against your spirit man.
Come on.
Are you seeing this?
Yes.
Every thought that is an enemy against your spirit man, to try to capitalize on destruction of your faith. Bring it into captivity. Bring it to Christ. He will punish the spiritual warfare that is coming against you.
Wow. I know that someone needs this today, the live or whether the replay. Hey, thank everybody. I thank y'all for the stars that have been popping up. This word needs to be shared because someone is battling something and you do not know how to battle it. There's strongholds, there's warfare, there's situations that have gone on. And so often we combat it wrong. This is the correct way to combat what is coming against you. You need to share this. You need to inbox somebody. Everybody's saying, yep, this is so good.
If you're fighting in the sanctuary, meaning you come to church and you're like, man, I just feel something heavy. I feel spiritual attack. It is because you didn't combat it before you got there. What's happening? Freezing up. It says all our stuff is freezing up.
Oh, it's good now. All right, go on.
Okay.
I've got all these updates that I just got notified about today.
Right. We love you. May the Lord bless you. David's going to tell you what to do. We're going to get ready because we have an appointment we have to be at in less than 20 minutes. So be blessed. Go. What do you want me to do?
Well, don't take off yet. Don't take off yet.
All right,
so the link is provided. It's chrisworksministries.com/partner. Go ahead. Join this assignment with us. You are part of sending us. You are part of the lives that are being transformed.
Which we are going, watch this, we're going to Florida for the next 4 days. If you want to be a part of sowing seed into Florida, go ahead and do it right now.
Yes, for the lives that are going to be transformed. Then we're coming back. We're doing a Mother's Day leadership and revival weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. And then we have our partner gathering in our home. So it is, again, only for active partners. Active partners are reoccurring monthly partners. The information's on our website. The link is provided in the bio or here in the comments. We love you guys. We thank you so much. And we cannot wait to see you Monday via remote from Florida. Love you guys.
Bye.